to a new episode. What the heck was this guy keeping him here for? Taehyung wondered if he was going to act like they didn't even exist. Of course, the blonde didn't even have to have a reason to keep Taehyung here. What was 265,000 won to that guy? Nothing. Taehyung had a bitter taste in his mouth as he grabbed the remote and switched on the television. Nothing was on, just old movie reruns and stand-up comedy that he wasn't really in mood for. What was downstairs anyway? When Taehyung grew too restless, he shut off the television and stood. The days was definitely troublesome. Taehyung wasn't the least bit tired. He wasn't at all the needy type, though he had gotten used to a roommate. Taehyung could survive without one, without question. But Taehyung couldn't help but feel a little sorry for Jungkook, even though the thought of sympathizing with a man who could have everything seems absurd. Not to mention, even if it was for his own gain, the man was giving Taehyung an extravagant place to sleep, good food, new clothes, things Taehyung never thought he would be able to gain to assess again. Taehyung felt a light pang in his heart as the memory he would much rather forget surfaced. With a huff, Taehyung left the room, intent to find out what was so great about downstairs this late at night. Very few people were out and about, and the lighting along the hallways were dimmed. Taehyung made his way around the bottom floors, searching for the elderly employer. There was piano music floating throughout the hallways, of which Taehyung figured was just being played by an intercom, but Taehyung realized as he grew closer to a pair of large double doors, the melody was growing louder. With his interest piqued, Taehyung quickly cracked the door open. The music flowed clearly now, a light echo resounding in the closed room. It was a decently sized area with a litter of a small round table and a small stage at the far side. On this stage sat a grand piano whose keys were being beautifully drummed by the hands Taehyung had just came to know last night. Taehyung observed silently as he made his way to the front, surprised to how elegant the muscular man appeared while under the key's guidance. He didn't think his entrance had been detected yet, for the brown eyes were hidden underneath closed eyelids, eyebrows knitted in concentration. Not wanting to disturb the scene, Taehyung stopped just short of the stage and watched, folding his arm loosely in front of him. It was during an increase in tempo that Jungkook finally opened his eyes and took notice of his company. Almost immediately, his hands stilled, stopping the music piece within its climax. With the sound of music still running in his ear, in the now silence, Jungkook let his hands drop to his side. The thought I told you to get some sleep, Jungkook asked tiredly. He had been ready to get back to his room and sleep under the sheets within minutes. Somehow he should have figured Taehyung would make his way down here. Not tired, Taehyung replied, closing the distance between him and the piano as he hefted himself up into the stage. You are pretty good, they said to Jungkook. I was forced to take piano lessons as a child, Jungkook explained as Taehyung ran his hand over the glossy edge of instruments before leaning his back on it. Figures like it the keeps my mind off things. Jungkook said more pianos and strangers. Your great escape. They added, I told you I don't want to talk about me, Jungkook said gruffly, lifting himself from the seat. He was surprised when a sock-covered foot appeared on his leg and pushed him back down. I met a guy, fell in love, and then decided to come out to my family. Taehyung started removing his foot when Jungkook stayed sitting down with a look of surprise. Taehyung adjusted to get more comfortable, trying his best not to lean on the keys behind him. It's click. Really, my father was furious. My mother was the same. My sister was young and didn't really understand, but I was a teenager in love, so I ended up abandoning my own family to chase after my heart. Though shocked at the sudden life story, Jungkook listened attentively. He was confounded by the content already loved. The beauty was who was currently walking the streets and wouldn't even offer a kiss or do other things because it was his rules. And for him to appear so nonchalantly as he said all this, the man I loved got married to a woman and stairs and left me behind because I didn't let him touch or kiss as I wanted to kiss him on our wedding day. Then continued, his gaze wavering before he broke eyes contact and looked off to the side. I was too ashamed to go back to my family. Still I am, so things happen. I still need to live to survive without education or skill. I met Minho, learned massage, and that's how I ended up here. Their gaze met again. Was this your first choice? Jungkook asked with little humor. The corner of Taehyung's lip, mouth upward. I work at a few places here and there when was never enough to pay the rent. With this, I can make a pretty good living if certain roommate would stop stealing our rent money and buying mates. Taehyung said with a light frown. Kook was reminded then of the desperate way Taehyung begged him for the money. Feeling discomforted, Jungkook reached forward, grabbing Taehyung's waist and pulling him sideways until the brown-haired beauty was right in front of Jungkook. Taehyung followed those hands easily, watching curiously as Jungkook leaned forward and rested his forehead on Taehyung's stomach. Sorry, Jungkook breathed. Taehyung wasn't sure what the apology was for the bad mood, for almost cheaping Taehyung of his money, for guilting him into telling him something personal, for the lost lover. No need to that, Taehyung replied, deciding it didn't matter what the apology was for. Already told you I have dealt with my problems, don't need counseling. Jungkook determined he was lying, if only for the fact Taehyung was able to hold eye contact throughout his story, but decided it was best to not to call Tae out on it. Thanks for telling me though, Jungkook replied, running his fingers over the silky shirt. This really does feel good. Jungkook replied, running his fingers over the silk shirt. Taehyung was well aware of those hands running up and down his sides. Told you, why do you think I'm still wearing it? Taehyung's skin jumped when Jungkook's hands slid underneath his shirt and touched his skin underneath. The burned hands were a bit chilly. You are warm, Jungkook muttered, sleepy as he continued to lean against Taehyung's stomach. Jungkook could feel a tremor running through his skin beneath the hole when Taehyung clenches. I could have kept you warm if you would have stayed with me. Taehyung put gliding his hands up Jungkook's arm and to his shoulder. Magic, though it was unnoticed, Jungkook's lips curled up into a grin. You would have done more than that, Jungkook replied rather playfully. Taehyung lacked the shift of mood. Is that a bad thing? Taehyung touched back, his fingers tracking in intricate patterns on Jungkook's shoulder and neck. It was a soft touch, relaxing yet one that was swiftly driving thoughts of sleep away from Jungkook's head. The other of the two were bringing to understand why so many people shout out relationships. His world has always been nothing but business, nothing but trying to outshine his father. There was no time for something as glorious as love. As so Jungkook had never put much thought into it, acted being curiosity at its beginning, and then one night from there on out, not like that. This thing with Taehyung was a relationship. Both wanted something and a deal was made. This was business, but still it was nice to know someone was going to be there when you came home, ready to make your mind up and the rest of the world, if only for a while. I guess not, Jungkook replied, grasping the edge. Replied, grabbing the edge of the shirt in between his thumb and forefingers and tucking the fabric upward. A toned stomach stared back at him, and Jungkook realized the man didn't seem as pale when compared to the crisp white material of his shirt. Tilting his hand and leaning forward, Jungkook placed a tender kiss on the skin inches away. The raven's belly button. Taehyung's roaming hand stealed as near ticklish kissing made their way down his stomach. His breath hinges when Jungkook curiously dripped onto the swelling around his belly, sending a heaven born rushing through Taehyung's mid. Restricting himself, Jungkook turtled his head upward and locked eyes with Taehyung with a rather abrupt yet affable move. Jungkook wound his arms around the skinny waist in front of him and stood. Taehyung was slightly shaken by the ground suddenly disappeared from his feet. Immediately relaxed when he was hoisted on the top of the piano. In their maneuver, Taehyung's feet had clumsily failed on the keys, striking a mixture of disassociated notes that hung in the air. Pulling his shirt up more, Jungkook bent down, and it was the beginning of the long night. Taehyung's hand flew to the man's brown twist, running his fingers through them and offering a small cry when a wave of mirth rushed to Taehyung. Not that I am not enjoying this, but I think I am supposed to be pleasing you. It was meant to be a teasing statement by Taehyung, but came out like more of an answered question. Taehyung watched weirdly at Jungkook, pulling back and looked up at him once again. Has anybody ever asked you what you wanted? Jungkook asked Taehyung, blinked. Not really. They just told me to show my hands skill while I give them massage. Taehyung muttered. Why would anyone pay money and then ask what Taehyung wanted? It didn't work like that. They wanted Taehyung to present his beauty and show his magical skills. Jungkook mumbled. gaze falling down to the small treasure. Jungkook then lowered his hands to the treasure. Yeah, me either. Taehyung's eyebrows frowned, mind trying to concentrate on the sentimental statement, but his hands were entirely too distracting. Fascinate atmosphere was making them feel weird anyway. Well, I wasn't expecting something this forward from you, Taehyung said, Sally, sitting back into his normal teasing routine. A small blot of color appeared on Jungkook's cheek, but he did not hesitate to do his work. Taehyung gasped, was lost in the notes caused by his heels slamming down on the keys of piano. Who are you, and what did you do with my prod? Taehyung asked with wide eyes and slightly annoyed by the common nickname. Jungkook looked up at Taehyung. You did this to me? Jungkook said, I'm not paying you. Taehyung teased Jungkook, so you should just enjoy it and not ask questions. Jungkook remarked. Rise. Taehyung continued to stare incredulously. His mind desperately tried to make sense out of the situation, but to no avail. It was all about giving enjoyment to the client, not the other way around. Whether it was massage or hot egg, this was weird. They felt uncomfortable. Jungkook took the lack of response as a cue to continue, and again started with his naughty work. Testing kiss. Taehyung changed his mind. It grew uncomfortable. That felt amazing. Jungkook's eyebrows frowned a bit when he tasted something. Soon Jungkook stopped and Taehyung frowned. Is it not good? Jungkook asked nervously. Taehyung's eyebrows shot up. Not good? It was feeling pretty good until you stopped. Taehyung replied with a grin. Jungkook was looking even more confused. Then why didn't I get you relaxed? After a pause, Taehyung burst out laughing, feeling his face flame. Jungkook crumbled and looked away. Taehyung's eyes danced in wrath as his cheeks stretched from smiling. Okay, maybe there is more to do than just going up and down. But that doesn't mean it didn't feel good, Tang replied, nearly going into another laughter fit when he had the urge to pinch Jungkook's cheek like a child. The whole being new to this thing was so cute about Jungkook. You will just need a lot of practice. With that said, by Taehyung, Jungkook was surprised to see Taehyung pulling his shirt up and buttoning his pants. As fun as it was to make music like that, I really want you to freak me now. Bluntly, jumping off the piano and slipping his arms around Jungkook's waist, pulling themselves against each other, and I get rather vocal. Sure, other will be able to tell I'm not a piano. It was only then that Jungkook finally realized their public situation. Taehyung determined that by the end of this week he will discover at least 3 completely new shades of red if they kept looking at Jungkook's face. Let's go back to the room, Jungkook mumbled, feeling ashamed, embarrassed as he wrapped an arm around Taehyung's arm and started walking. Taehyung glanced cheerfully following. So, baby, they teased. Don't call me that, Jungkook frowned. You always said that. There is nothing wrong with nicknames. Hey, what about Jungkook love? Taehyung asked, getting excited. Jungkook blanked. Continue. So everyone, what do you think? What is going to happen? And don't you think Taehyung is getting a little bit too naughty? Okay, I will see you again with the next episode. Hope you are liking it. Thanks a lot for your feedback. As a lot of readers did not comment their feelings, their thoughts. It's just few of you, but I really like it. So If you can, please comment it down whatever you feel about it. I'll see you again. Bye bye. Bye.